Guys, we've got Big Brother getting the chorus ready, and Isaac Heaney song for you, so we'll let it rip for you. I need a Heaney, I'm holding out for a Heaney to the end of round 5. He is going well, but he's not in my team, and I've got to get him after the bye. I need a Heaney, I'm holding out for a Heaney till the end of round 5. He is going well, but he's not in my team, and I've got to get him after the bye. I need a Heaney, I'm holding out for a Heaney till the end of round 5. He is going well, but he's not in my team, and I've got to get him after his bye. After his bye.
Oh, wow. Another belter from Damien and his brother Aiden. Much love to you, Stafford boys. That is an absolute banger. And as you can tell, Big J and I loved belting out to that one. Thank you so much for sending that in. Keep them coming. Is that right, Big J?
Mate, I'm excited. Guys, this is our, I'm going to go over my trades for this week, the players I'm bringing in, and we're talking captaincy options for this week. So stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Joe, captaincy options for this week. A lot of people picked Nick Dacos last week, and they were happy with the 135. Get out of town. Gorn scored big. Tom Green scored big. I know me and you had him as our captains. Who are we picking this week as players we need to bring in? Because, or not players we need to bring in, but players we need to choose, because it can be a real difference maker.
That it can. And I guess the only way a real important way to find out who we should be going with is supposed to look at who our players are going to be playing against. So I guess, we're looking here at the Saints v Collingwood, massive Thursday night game. Collingwood under a lot of pressure, 0-2. Can they bounce back? Well, you'd imagine they can. I'm tipping the Pies. And it's very hard to go past Nick Dacos as a prime vice captain option. He went 135 last week, early in the week, playing again at the glorious MCG where he loves to play. It's pretty damn hard to go past Nick Dacos for this matchup. So I think most people, around 80% of the league has Nick Dacos, and I wouldn't be surprised if all 80% of them go Nick Dacos VC this week.
Yeah, he just seems like the safe option. We said when we started Supercoach this year, Nick Dacos is very, very good option early on, and then a Bont or someone else is a very, very good option. A 135 is still fantastic. Yes, okay, cool. 15 points less than the rest, but could be a lot worse, Joe.
100%. I know people might have a Jack Steele or a Rowan Marshall, but I definitely consider Nick Dacos to be a lot more safer as an option. We then move to the Friday game, Adelaide Oval. Crows hosting the Cats. A question over whether or not someone, for example, could we see a bounce back from a Dawson type, or can we see another massive game from Rory Laird at home? They do love to play at Adelaide Oval. Meanwhile, for the Cats, they've got someone like a Tom Stewart. You probably wouldn't be considering anybody else, I don't imagine.
No, I don't think so. We'll see what happens with the Ollie Dempsey as well. And Adelaide kind of lost last week, so it's a bit of a big one, and I think they'll bounce back at home. As you say, Rory Laird will hopefully does well, and then there's some other ones. There's not really someone from this team, though, that I would pick. I think Nick Dacos is very set. And going back to Nick Dacos in the first round as well, guys, you can set a precedent by picking a player that ends up scoring quite a lot, and it almost forces other people, because everyone wants to have a better captaincy score than you. It almost forces other people to go a bit balls and be like, oh no, half the competition have got Dacos. I don't have him. I need to go a bit crazy with my captaincy and vice captaincy options. So, yeah, no one from the Adelaide Crows game. The next one down, though, I know a lot of people are going to be picking a one, Caleb Sarong, coming off a 170, or a Luke Ryan, Joe. Are they in your team? Are you considering these players?
Well, I've got neither of those boys in my team. I unfortunately have the worst docker, and that's bloody Hayden Young. So he's not going to be anywhere near my captaincy or vice captaincy plans, that's for sure. But if you've got a Sarong, you absolutely, it would be so right for you to have him as your VC. especially considering what a Tom Green did to North Melbourne last week. So, you can imagine someone along that line of contested ball, just absolute brute around the contest. You can totally see Sarong popping off. And I don't know if someone might be a little bit sneaky and going for a Luke Jackson, for example. If he's playing forward more this week against your undersized backline, Luke Jackson could pop off and kick a nice handy bag. So if you've got Luke Jackson in your midfield, Luke Jackson in your forward line, then he could be a potential sneaky VC.
Yeah, I think so. Cherry did do quite well last week. So I know a few people are saying, cool, as Joe says, maybe someone to bring in, but I don't know. Tristan Cherry is not bad. He's not bad.
He's a good
moving down to the next one. I don't think there's anyone really from the Hawks you could consider. A lot of people might be going Max Gawn, but if you just look at the stats, I believe that the double teaming from the Hawks have negated him a little bit in the past. So it's something to consider there.
Yeah. Hawks as a matchup against Ruckman tend to score 25% less, 25% worse against Hawthorn. So Hawthorn can be a very restrictive matchup. So yeah, probably you must have immense faith in the big man, Maxi Gawn. A lot more faith than I do. I haven't even started him in my team. So he could do all right. Petrarca, don't know how many people own Petrarca or Clayton Oliver, but yeah, not too many captaincy options for this game. Definitely more likely in this one to potentially roll the dice with, for example, a VC on Isaac Heaney, who unfortunately Damien Aiden are holding out for. They're holding out for till the end of round 5. So Sydney Swans, mate, at home, very strong favourites, $1.15 to $5.50. So yeah, it's for a reason as well.
Yeah, Damien. Unfortunately, Heaney's got a 140 average. I don't know if you're holding out for potentially could be a 650K player. It's going to suck, but, we all play Supercoach differently. So, yeah, definitely one of the Heaney guys, things like that. A lot of us have Livingston as your vice captain option. So you can basically pick anyone, which is the beautiful thing of this. If you want to go someone a bit antipod, things like that, 100% you can make it happen. So, yeah. Definitely someone to consider. I don't think there's anyone from Essendon you could really choose, depending on what the matchup's like. So we'll see what happens. Joe, people aren't picking 100 captaincy score. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen there.
Set It Go is going to go 130 tomorrow on Saturday. Right, Set It Go is going 130. You heard it here first. But we're still going to lose by 130. All right, Sunday game. And that, as you were saying about Livingston, that's the reason why we were telling people to pick Livingston over Finbar because of how many late game fixtures there are for the West Coast Eagles, which is prime loophole target. So, yeah, well done. Doggies, this one's a really tough one. I don't know how I'm supposed to read this. The odds basically have it as a coin flip as well. I'm leaning towards Gold Coast just based on what I've seen so far, as opposed to the Bulldogs. And Matt Rowell versus Libba. I just feel like it's going to be head-to-head, and I don't think there's going to be any one clear winner. So for that, I don't really expect to see one super dominant midfielder score, I feel like there's going to be shared. A lot of dominant mids in this game. Obviously, you got Took as well with Anderson and Flanders. And on this side, you've got someone like the Bond, for example. So we picked the Bond as a perma captain, but I can't see myself picking him as a captain in this matchup.
Yeah, and it's going to be a bit of a tricky one as well. I know you've got Tim English in your team, but English is versing Witts and potentially Noah Anderson there. So it's tough, Joe, for him. Probably not a selection. Moving down to Richmond, Adelaide. I'm not sure how many people... Sorry, Port Adelaide, my mistake. I'm not sure how many people are going to pick players from this team. Hopefully, Ollie Wines does well for me before I kick him in the butt. But, yeah, in terms of, like, Supercoach captain scoring, I don't think there's anyone really relevant from this game.
Oh, Butters could do really well. I think he led the CBAs. I think he led the CBAs for Port Adelaide last week. And playing at the MCG, maybe some more room for him to move. Richmond have copped quite a few injuries. I know they were down 3 injuries from that game last week against the Blues, where they were really gallant in defeat and unfortunately couldn't get over the line. And when we look at Richmond, we know Richmond love to give up scores to mids. Doesn't show that here for some reason, but I mean, this is fantasy. But we tend to know that Richmond tend to give up a lot of points to midfielders. And so as a result, I think you can be pretty confident picking what's his face, like a Zach Butters type. But I don't know. Zach Butters can be pretty flaky when it comes to his captaincy scores because you never know when he's going to go down with an injury, for example, with his kamikaze style. So I probably wouldn't go there.
Yeah, definitely. Same for me too. You want to go the set captaincy scores, and they're a real thing that can separate the good players from the bad. The ones that were top 100 last year basically nailed, top 2 or 3 best scores every week. We're trying to make that sure for you guys.
Yep.
Everyone's captain could almost be playing this week, Joe, but there's some real good vice captain options and captain options here too. Last week we both picked Tom Green, and there's a certain Jay Hogan that might go big this week for me. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I know I don't have Hogan, but I'm always going to back in my inside mid, and I backed him in last week, big Tom Green, and he's definitely going to be my captain again this week. But if you really wanted to be cheeky, like cheeky isn't enough. Cheeky isn't enough of a word to describe. If you want to be scumbaggy, almost dare I say,
it's not that bad.
Degenerate. You could just lap up and feast on the misery that Jesse Hogan's going to unleash on this West Coast backline. I don't own him, so I'm not being tempted at all. I'm definitely firming on Tom Green. Are you thinking of going Jesse Hogan, mate?
I have to see what their run against, forwards is going to be like. But North Melbourne definitely has a lot of trouble with defenders. Like our defenders not being very good, but yeah, it's pretty juicy, Joe. We'll see what what Nick Dacos and a few of these other guys who are really captain options, what they do. You're not really going to pick kind of what's going to happen for me this week. But
do it for the culture. Do it for the culture.
Super pod. I mean, not many people have Jesse Hogan, and he's got a 140 average already, so it's not bad.
Get around him. All right. So my tips for the week are Pies by 8 points, I reckon.
Yep.
I'm going Crows at home.
Yep, that's what I've done too.
I'm going the Dockers.
Oh, no. I've gone North Melbourne. I reckon we did well against GWS. Freo's got a few injuries. Yes, they've got some players that are able to move and play multiple roles, but they're already struggling without a ruckman and a few other guys missing. Now they've had a few more injuries last week. I think North Melbourne, that 277, I'm not a betting man, but you could make some money off that game, I reckon.
Not too shabby. I'm going Melbourne for this one.
Yeah, I have as well.
The Swannies.
Yep.
I'm going Suns.
I did too. And I'm really surprised that I think maybe it's a Mars Stadium thing because the Suns are 2-0 and the Dogs are not 2-0. So it's something to watch there. I think the Suns as well are going to be against the odds in a lot of betting just because they haven't been very good previously. But yeah, I picked the Suns for this game. I think they'll have an upset. Hopefully Flanders does well.
Yep, 100%. Port to win this one, I reckon.
Yep.
And the Eagles done.
Yeah.
And the Eagles the whole Jesse Hogan goalless.
Yeah, done. Shannon Hearn comes back for one game in the year. Easy.
Jesus Hearn. All right, there we go. All right, those are the tests. Now, for our individual trades, what we're going into the season with, I guess we'll start with mine. This is how my team currently looks. I guess I'll move our cameras a bit to the side here. My changes for this week, Fisher, Martin, and Gibkiss are all out. I know, yes, I'm bailing on my boy, Nick Martin, but I don't own him. He's a free man. I'm letting him be free. I'm not giving up on him as a selection. I do think that he is going to be good for us down the track. This perfect conditions for a 63. And then this week he's going over to the SCG, which is a smaller ground against a tougher opposition where it's going to be wet and dewy. It was going to be raining during the day, and in the evening it's going to be humid. So that ball is going to be a bar of soap, And
Yep.
unfortunately, we've seen what happens when his disposal efficiency isn't up. So I'm more than happy to bring him in down the track when he's a little bit cheaper, when he's got the DPP. I do believe he's going to be in my team at the end of the season. I do love this kid to bits. But right now, tough calls have to be made. And the tough call is that I need Harry Sheasel in my side ASAP. And I don't want to miss out on the cash that's going to come from both Billings and Jordan. And that's why these are my trades. And my team looks a bit, or not a bit, looks exactly like this, because that is what my team is. So as you can see, I'm going with the Dacos VC and the Tom Green. Got the Carroll on field to loop between Sharp and Roberts, as Sharp and Sanders. I don't know if Sanders is going to be dicked around by Bevo again. And so as a result, happy to have a look and see how Sharp goes. If Sharp goes around about 70 again, I'm just going to take it. I'm not going to risk a bad rookie score from the Sanders if he gets subbed out early or is used as the sub. I'm just going to use Sharp there. And I'm confident Wilson will flourish in the wide expanses of the MCG against Collingwood on Thursday night. So that's why I've got him on my field here. And with Williams having the bye, both of the Demon Boys are on my field. And that is what my team looks like coming into round 2.
Guys, so this is my team. I haven't worked out exactly what I did, but I'm pretty happy with right now. I'm gearing up for next week. Next week's going to be a spicy one. Joe and I were talking about it a little bit. Yeah, do something different. It's okay. And I think this is what the year's going to happen for me. I'm going to have a much different team than a lot of people. And hopefully it works out. There's enough cash gen to make things happen for us. I did have 103K in the bank. So, you know, I scored more than you guys and I had 103K. Just sorry, guys. But this week, looks like Ollie Wines and Martin are going to get the boot next week. Just a bit of a heads up. I hated the fact everyone knows in the Discord, Big J, you did not pick McKercher. Why did you not pick McKercher? Because I'm an idiot. So McKercher's in my team this week. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So Burgess is out. I'm sorry, Burgess. It was fun for a week when you scored a 30 for me, but, you know, it is what it is. Clark's out. We've spoken about, hey, he's going to play. That 13 does nothing for me. I want cash gen. 13 is just poo. Like, it's an extra week. Yes, he doesn't have an early buy, but it's an extra week I have to wait. It's an extra 13 in his 3-round average for the first week as well. So instead of him raising up in price, I just can't do it. And then Zach Fisher's out because, you know, most traded out player, I think, this week. You already know what's going to happen. Big Jordan for me in the forward line. Then I am going to go and swing Wilson in there, gearing up a little bit for what I'm going to do. I'm going to go early on a player. I'm not a big fan of it, but just my money for next week, I just can't do it. So I'm going to go early on big Harry Sharp. Hopefully he doesn't have any more sicknesses. Hopefully North Melbourne, you know, can throw him a bone and get a turnover or 2, but we still win the game. And then obviously McKercher is my player. So I do have 132K in the bank. Don't worry about it. Big J's got some plans for next week, boys and girls. There's someone coming off their bye that looks a bit juicy. So just watch out for that. I think I'm going to do a little bit what Joe's done. So Sanders over there. And then I'm not sure, Joe, if you look at my team, obviously Alex comes on. You know, I've got those 2 guys. I've got to get rid of one of them next week. And then we'll go Jordan on field probably for Wilson, you reckon? Is a fair shout? Or would you put Cabin on field versus Gold Coast?
No, I think Sexton's going to be fine. And I'm definitely not ahead of James Jordan, that's for sure.
No. So I don't even know if I can do a loophole at the moment. I'll have to work out who it is. Potentially I can do a Carroll loophole, but that's just what it's looking like next week, guys. So I think I'm going to go this week. Let's go and do a Nick Dacos BC, and then Gorn goes here. And if that's going to let me do it without screwing up. Cool. All right. And then as Joe's done, BC and then C. No, isn't that going to work for us? Why doesn't it like Nick Dacos, Joe? We'll figure
You
it
are
out.
not allowed.
I'm not allowed to pick Nick Dacos, but maybe I will. Just for there you go. Now it's worked.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. All right. I think that's my trades. 1863. I'm not sure exactly how that's worked out because it was a little bit
Gorn is
higher
off the
before.
field again. Gorn's gone. Gorn
Oh
is
my
back on the
gosh,
bench.
they just don't like me. Oh, there you go. Dawn's playing, guys. I didn't forget that. I saw a team. I think it was Supercoach Masters that posted it. Someone was it Gorn or Grundy on the bench, and they didn't have the E, so they missed out. I mean, they only scored a 70, but that's still, a bit of ranks there. So, yeah, this is my week 2 team. Hopefully it works out all right. I know I left you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger on Monday.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little video. It was meant to be a little video. It ended up going about 20 minutes long, but hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Massive thank you once again to the Stafford boys. Feel free, absolutely. I'm glad. I'd love to have this be a weekly thing. I might be putting you under a bit of pressure here to come up and provide us with some goods, but anybody else out there who would love to share a little special talent of theirs and to just be part of this community and really get their awareness out, please feel free to send us a message, whether it be on the Facebook or on the Twitter. We'd absolutely love to have more of that stuff coming through.
Guys, we're so very close to 2K subs. Smash that sub button, smash the like button if you haven't already. Get us through to 2K and then on to, 2,500 maybe before the end of the season. That'd be bloody amazing, but let's hit this small milestone first.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, we're here stalled in the last five, and you're talking about 2,500. But guys, regardless, we're here doing it for you boys and girls. Absolutely love doing this. Hope you've enjoyed the ride. A like and a subscription. Hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any of the videos and live streams that we're putting up. Join us for the drive home tomorrow, Thursday, 5:30, where we go over the team sheets and obviously talk and interact with you boys and girls. Any of your last minute questions coming into the round. And then we, of course, wrap it all up back on Mondays at 7:30 p.m. as usual.
Should be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Round 2, first of the best 18 weeks. I think it's probably not the most influential of the weeks. Obviously, 3, I think 5 as well is probably a bit of a nasty one, but still something different we haven't seen before. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we see you on Monday, as Joe says. And guys, remember, here at the Centre Bounce, we do the hard work so you guys don't have to. Get your tips in. Tips before Thursday. Make it happen before the game.
Indeed.